you fish?
No.
You know, people who don't fish think that fishing is lazy or boring, but it is the complete opposite. There are 100 little decisions to be made, variables to be considered, and you're never quite sure what made the difference. Did I cast too high, too far to the left? Did I reel it in too slow or too fast? Is the lure too shiny or too dull? Do I stay here or should I go over there? And you know it's not luck, but you do not know by how much. Because I am never disappointed out here, because I don't expect anything, because anything is possible. I can be hopeful out here, even in failure. Because I know if I just go out there around that tree, it might be different. Something might be different. Something I do might make a difference.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good evening, everybody. As you can tell, I'm alive. This is the longest I've gone without social media since I was probably born. I am so sorry about that. It was a shit show. I have the man, though, Jimmy Coleman, who just kicked everyone's ass in this tournament. But what I'm going to do is I thought with Jimmy here, I'm going to just tell the story real quick. That way, y'all know what happened, and then we can just pivot to what's more hopeful and stuff, that this guy just kicked everyone's ass. So what happened? Me and John Molnar, we decided we were going to go explore some new water on the Shenandoah, the West Virginia portion of the Shenandoah River. So rule number one, if you're fishing a place like a river system, Google Earth is not your friend, where yes, you can look and see that there are rapids. It doesn't really tell you gradients. It doesn't tell you if that is the Great Falls or if it's just a little riffle. You can kind of make it out. So that's a little teaser to the story. John is in his inflatable, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a pickup and launch. So we both would launch upriver and we would float this beautiful section. And then his lovely wife was going to pick us both up. So this is the beginning of the cautionary tale. We launch in the morning, and things are going pretty good in the first, I say like 20, 30 minutes. I catch a couple, and John catches a catfish. And this catfish, that's about 15 pounds, drops right on the top of his deck and begins to puncture his kayak. So before 6:30, poor John is out of commission. He comes over to me. He's got his thumb and his big toe on this hole, dead nut center of his kayak, and it is just streaming air. And so I give him all of my duct tape that I use, because I keep a little extra duct tape in my kayak when I fish rivers. That way I can adjust the height of my motor really quickly. It's a poor man's version of what you can get from Innovative Sportsman and places like that. I can just duct tape it up, keep it up a little bit higher, whatever. So give him all my duct tape, some super glue, and he's like, listen, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm going to go back towards the ramp area, get this thing patched up, and then I'll probably meet you down below. I'm like, cool, I'm going to continue on. That's not a good part of the story. But we were the only two kayakers out there, which is kind of foreboding, I guess, in one sense, but fishing was amazing. For the first 2 hours, it's one of the best days I had on the river. A 19-incher, 13.5, 17.75, 15.50, and I think another 17. And I went to load up the first fish, which was like 13 and some change, and it just it felt like forever. I left the phone in my little dry bag, which is like clear through so I could see it, and it never uploaded that fish no matter how hard I tried. And then I kept floating, and when I caught the 19-incher, I pulled it out again, took the picture of that, and then it said no bars, no service, jack shit. So I'm like, screw it, I'm just not going to upload them. Take all the pictures and stuff. I go to this first riffle, paddle through it, no issue, and then there's that, those little slack water areas in between riffles. I catch another one that was like probably 14 and some change. I caught all my bigger ones just before that first real riffle, I think. And I see that this big riffle section that I saw on Google Earth was more like a pretty steep gradient of 10 to 20 feet. It was going down, and I did not know exactly where I could take my big 13.5-foot kayak. And so there were some ledges under the water that I could kind of see with my glasses on. The water was really murky. And so my plan was to get out real quick, stand, and kind of scope this out on where to go. And so what I did is I took, and on the left side, I put my foot down onto what I thought was the ledge, which it was. And then I started to stand up and shimmy my body over to stand up. As I did this, it was either my pocket or my big ass, it hit the throttle. And when it hit the throttle, the kayak started to scoot. Now, again, it's not instantaneous with the torpedo. So as soon as I felt myself push it, I knew what was going to happen. The kayak was going to move. So what I was trying to do was hop and reposition my foot so I had a better angle so then I could just get right out and I'll deal with the motor. Well, when I repositioned in that current, which again, just stupid, I slipped. And when I slipped, I just kind of, and it wasn't like this hardcore fall. It looked like a whale kind of like entering back in the water. I plop in, but it was enough for the kayak to tilt. The current took the kayak downstream. I fell backwards. I hit my head on something. I don't think it was the rock. I think it was the kayak. And then it was like instantaneous. I pop right back up. The kayak is starting to float on its side away, and it flipped. The rod I had in my hand is gone. Don't worry about that. I get back to the kayak, get it upright, and we just go down the rapids together. I get to the bottom of this thing. I beach it, and then I do a quick assessment. So I was like, okay, cool. GoPro, well, that's dead because I didn't put it in a waterproof case because it was supposed to be sunny all day. Well, I have that. So that's not working anymore. 2 rods, the one in my hand is gone. Another one is gone, and 1 tackle bag. The batteries and everything else are good because they're locked in the kayak. They're not going anywhere. And my dry box is good. So looking at this, I'm like, cool, this is not good. Let me get my phone out. Let me see if I have some service to call John. Go to my dry box, which I keep underneath my seat. Well, it's not there. I was like, where the hell is it? Well, I caught a fish before I went through all that. I took a picture of it. And I was like, I put the damn phone in my pocket before I went in the drink. My phone's gone. So I'm sitting there for a hot second thinking like, well, John is going to come down because he said he was going to float this way. He's going to come down soon and I can talk to him about this. Wait, what feels like an eternity, probably was like 10 to 15 minutes. I realized like, what if he doesn't come back and he was going to call me and be like, hey, listen, my kayak is completely screwed. Just let me know when, like I went through this whole scenario. Like, okay, so I'm going to have to get back up there and start heading back to the truck now because I can't fish. I don't have a phone. And if I float down there, I don't know if anyone's going to pick me up. And so I had to tie the leash around my waist and Spider-Man just crawl up this riffle. And I slipped at some point and I hit my shin so effing hard. It hurt like a mother. It really did. Didn't know what kind of damage it did. Get to the very top of this thing and get back in the kayak, push it forward, get the torpedo operated, and I start going. And that's when I see like in the bottom of the kayak, it's like the water's a weird crimson color because it's just, I'm spewing blood. And I was just thinking first, like, this is awesome. I said some choice words at the top of my lungs. I'm not going to go into those. Roll up my pants. Yep. Nicked my shin really good. Amazing. Slow going because I couldn't raise my motor up anymore because John has all my duct tape. So I'm hitting every rock thinking such amazing thoughts. Finally get back to the boat ramp, which is probably around 9:30, 10. And I haul ass to my parents' house, get there. I call Mike Ortega, I think on my mom's phone, or I texted him around 11-ish, I think it is, and be like, hey, it's been a swell day. By chance, can I use her phone, get the app, and go back out? And he said, yes. Get new clothes on, wrap my leg up, and I head back out. And I think it was at this point when I go back out, I catch a couple of dinks. It really, I'm mentally, I'm checked out at this point, but I try to catch a few dinks. And I don't know if it was on the second drop that I lost my paddle or I already had it lost. That's a blur to me because I ran into Victor and Joel at the second spot and they said they saw a paddle. So I'm assuming that was mine. So I lost my paddle in the second go around with it. But the most poignant thing is with this here. This is the inflatable I've been using last year and this year. When I went out a second time, I realized that this thing was soaking wet, absolutely just drenched. And I don't know if I was like just mentally just not thinking about that, but it really was. Driving to the car, I put it back on. And I was like, this thing is soaking wet. I think it's defunct because it did not ignite. It didn't blow up or inflate at all. when I went in the drink or when I was clawing back up those riffles. So cautionary tale that if I actually did knock myself out when I hit the kayak, that would have not been really good. It would have been a lot more. I guess I would get really good views if I was dead on this thing. But yeah. So moral of the story, don't use inflatable vests when you're fishing the river. I'm going to be switching and getting a really good one. I'm probably going to ask Jimmy here about the best vest to get. Number 2, don't get out of eyesight of your partner, because with the cell service the way it is on some parts of this river, you don't know if you get into trouble if you get into trouble, you have no idea if you're going to be able to message someone else. Because even if I didn't lose my phone but I got hurt, I didn't have any cell service really. So there's no way in hell I would have been able to like contact John to be like, hey, listen, I'm trapped, in the middle of nowhere. So just some thoughts there with that. I am okay emotionally, and ego probably bruised a little bit, but that's about it. And about $15,000 or $1,500 in the hole with all the crap I lost. But with that said, we get all that out of the way. Let's get to Jimmy, because Jimmy kicked ass in this tournament. Over 90 inches, the only guy to crack it. The man, the myth, the paintball legend, Jimmy Coleman. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Dude, your legend has grown far and wide, and you tamed the Shenandoah River this weekend. What was your thoughts going into this tournament?
I was feeling good. I mean, I feel at home on the rivers. Me and Jackie have been floating the rivers for smallmouth for 25 years. I felt good. But it was a strange bite, though. For me, I didn't catch anything in the middle. No 13s, no 14s, 15s, or 16s. I either caught a big one or a 12-incher. It's kind of weird. And it was slow. I mean, I never really thought I was in contention until like the last 2 hours.
Did you practice at all for this event?
No. I mean, we've floated the river for 25 years. So no, I didn't. As long as the river wasn't flooded or too low, then yeah, it's fine. We know where to go.
Were you thinking main stem, South Fork, or North Fork to begin this thing?
Secret spot.
Secret spot. So I practiced on the north, the south, and the main stem. And the biggest thing was with the water rising, the clarity between way upstream and way downstream was a big deal. Did that play into your thoughts at all?
Yeah, but we just rolled the dice on what it was going to be like. I mean, it was good for us. We probably had like 4 foot of visibility. Chun said wherever he was, it was chocolate milk. He said he had like 3 inches of visibility. I don't know where he was, but yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know how, from one end to the other, I don't know how much it changed, I don't know if he was all the way at one end or the other.
Yeah, I think he was at locks, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so maybe my body would have floated down to you, honestly, because where you were, you could have fished me out. And this is something that's important too with Jackie. I'm going to tie this in. Do you guys have a system for when you're doing these floats?
Yes, we definitely instituted the buddy system a long time ago. I'll tell you that story. We were floating in November. I don't know. It was cold. It was cold enough you didn't want to go in the water. And I had floated around the corner, and Jackie had stopped to do something or whatever. And so I just anchored up, was waiting for him. I'm waiting for like a half an hour. I'm like, well, what the hell's going on? I was like, he must be smashing these fish back there. So finally, he comes around the corner. And of course, he goes, hey, I got a story for you. He was tying on something, and kayak turned sideways and hit a rock, and he goes into the water. Everything goes in. When back then, well, we still do. If it's cold, I always bring a change of clothes in a dry bag. So in case anything happens, I can always get out, change my clothes, and keep on going. He drags everything up on the bank, changes his clothes, gets back in the kayak, realizes he doesn't have a pole. Goes, takes all his clothes back off again, goes back in the water, finds his pole, comes back, has to change his clothes again. So yeah, we instituted the buddy system after that. You never get out of eyesight. So
That's a big one too. Is never getting out of eyesight, and again, depending on which section of the river you're in, it can be kind of hair raising, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it doesn't take long for somebody to turn over real quick, you know.
Now, and it's always like it's something that it feels like you do 1,000 times. That's what's going to go wrong. It's not something usually crazy like you're like riding a waterfall or something batshit. It's usually just you've done it 1,000 times, but that one time, you slip up.
Yeah, you're just gonna go through a rapid or something, and it's gonna get sideways, and you're just gonna go over.
Yeah. So with you and Jackie, like with the water conditions and everything, did you have any preconceived notions then on Friday of like how things were going to play out? Did you think you're going to get fat in a hurry early in the day, or did you think it was going to be a grind?
No, I thought we were gonna catch them good. I mean, I thought we were gonna clobber them, but I didn't clobber them as good as I thought we were. I mean, I thought they were definitely more 90 inches too. I was watching the leaderboard and I was near the top, but I didn't think I was in contention because I think I caught my first one, I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes after we started, a 12-incher, 12 and a half something. I think I caught my first 17 at, I don't know, maybe 7:30 or something. Then I would catch a bunch of 12-inchers. And then I think I caught another 17 at 9:30. It was like every 2 hours I would catch one, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna do it if I go at this rate, And I was throwing a chatterbait and a spinnerbait and a buzzbait and a whopper plopper.
Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, and I mean, I would catch one every so often. I'd catch them, so I was catching them enough not to put it down.
Yeah,
but not enough to make me go, man, this is working really good, So I just kept grinding away and kept throwing them. And I think at noon I had three. I think I had 18. I think I had that 18 and 3/4 and two 17s at noon and like two 12-inch fish. I'm like, man, this ain't gonna cut it. And I think a little after 12, 12:15, 12:30 something, I caught two back to back. Well, almost back to back. Within 10 minutes, I caught a 17 and a 19. Within 10 minutes, and that put me in the lead. And then very shortly after that, he turned the leaderboards off, and I'm like, I hate that. So I'm sweating it the whole time. I was like, I don't know. But it held up.
Did your topwater bite hold up all day, or did it kind of go away when the sun came out?
I threw it early, and all I was catching was 12 inches on it. So I put it down, and I went back to it sporadically, but I never caught anything big on it. So I would only throw it every once in a while to see if something changed, but no.
Yeah.
Chatterbait and a spinnerbait.
Yeah, pretty much. Same thing here. Chatterbait, spinnerbait. And guys, let me tell you, if you want to catch the biggest catfish in the system, throw a spinnerbait that's not made anymore or a mega bass spinnerbait, because you will catch 200-pound chat on catfish. I swear to God. Better than cut bait, better than anything on the market. I don't know why those stupid things work for catfish, but my God, they do.
It hit like a freight train too.
Yeah, and they destroy you. Like, it's so hard to get those baits back because it just takes a couple to snap your spinnerbait. You know what I mean?
They'll bend that thing in a figure eight.
Yeah, dude, it was bad, man. It was real bad. Don't worry, guys. I'll get to all your comments here shortly as well. How did Jackie do?
10th.
10th?
He had a late surge, but ran out of time. He caught a couple there at the end that put him into 10th. So.
What do you think about your season so far?
Well, this made up a lot for it. The first two tournaments, crap. I didn't score a single fish on Lake Anna at the season opener. And what was the second one? I don't remember what the second one was.
Potomac?
Oh yeah, Potomac. Middle of the pack. I just couldn't catch anything big there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I fished, but nothing big. And then the Battle of Five Lakes, I couldn't. This is the first tournament, though, that the wind hasn't been blowing 50 miles an hour. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. It just wouldn't stop raining. It's just so weird because I wondered, like, with the fish catches was, if the water clarity hurt or helped the fishing, because it just felt like it was continuously, depending on where you are in the river. Again, I know everyone wants to, but it seems like it got chocolate milk in certain areas and it was getting chalkier in other areas. Like, it was trying to get dirtier and dirtier because of all the water we're getting. And Do you think that mud helps or hurts the bite?
I don't know, because I went out on the Potomac, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and it was, I don't know, a foot of visibility, and I didn't have any problem catching them. I caught them pretty good. Um, I guess I don't think it hurts it, but maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe I was just lucky that day. But I mean, I generally don't fish for smallmouth when it's muddy, but I can't think of a time that I went when it was muddy that I didn't catch them. You know what I mean? Unless flood stage.
Yeah, no, that's true. Were you primarily targeting? You said you weren't catching them in the middle, so it was just anything that you could beat, you could see, you threw at.
We caught most of them mid-river in the ledges. I think the last two I caught them off the bank in the shade line, but yeah, we were catching them off the ledges.
Interesting. So your bigger ones were set up, okay, and where they should be. That makes sense.
Yeah, the last two good ones I caught off the shade line, but all the rest of them we caught in the middle in the ledges.
Yeah, it was wild, man.
They hit it as soon as it hit the water.
Yeah, I think that's what freaks people out with this when it gets muddy and stuff. Is it's just you can catch them bottom bumping a tube or a Ned rig or a Helgramite or whatever, but it's a lot harder the dirtier the water gets. It is more of just meat and potatoes. Just throw the moving baits and just cover water.
Oh yeah, out there they can feel going by.
Yeah, exactly. Do you prefer throwing a spinnerbait versus a chatterbait? I know Chun only owns jackhammers. Are you on the other end of the spectrum and only own spinnerbaits?
Yeah, I've been catching them on a spinnerbait for 25 years. Then no matter what year it is, I can always catch them on a spinnerbait.
Why do you think the spinnerbait goes in and out of favor like it does?
I don't know. I carry at least 50 spinnerbaits with me all the time. There's always one tied on. Always.
Do you throw that with fluorocarbon or braid?
Braid.
Braid, same. That's a huge difference maker for me.
Straight braid, yeah. And when the bite is there, it feels like electricity going through your arm when they hit it.
Oh, dude, yeah. And you almost really with that rip and current and stuff in a kayak, that braid helps so much because there's no stretch, there's no fuss. It's just you can set and just start winching on them and keep pressure.
Yep.
Did you have a motor or were you just floating?
No, we just floated. Yeah. On a motor.
Would you anchor up at all or were you just continuously moving?
We would anchor, yeah. That current was ripping. I
know.
Normally you float about a mile an hour if you're fishing, and we've got everything timed out because the first time we did it, we had to scramble because we couldn't get nothing loaded up, and we had to load the boats up and drive to McDonald's so we could load the fish up, and that was a mad scramble. So ever since the first time we did it, we've gotten everything timed out, and we were like, at the halfway point, we were like an hour and a half ahead of schedule because the river was going so fast.
Well, it sounded like you didn't need the whole time there, which was awesome. All right, guys, I get to all your questions here. We got Mike. Mike says, I taught this guy everything he knows on that river. Good job, Coleman.
Mikey Salas. Yeah. He's another paintball guy.
Do you guys actually play together?
We never played on the same team, but we played against each other.
Dude, that's freaking wild, man. We got Rudy, who also runs the Jackson Trail, guys. He does the Upper Potomac one as well. Like, go check him out. That's a really cool trail. Need to get a good standard PFD. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yep. Guys, I learned my lesson. Don't be me. Don't be stupid. Get yourself a really good vest. Lee Wells says NRS vest. I'm gonna Google that one too, because now I'm definitely shopping for a good vest and some kind of like leash for my phone. Let's see here. We got John with the Catfish Killer and inflatable kayak popper. Spinnerbaits rule. Congrats to James. Absolute hammer. And we got Kendrick that says NRS. Over on Instagram, we got Paul Spanker. It's Paul Spankshire. It's Paul Spankshire. Sorry. What is your favorite bait to throw this time of year? I think you already named it, spinnerbait. Do you like Colorado blades or you like willow leaf?
Double willow.
Double willow. Ooh. Yeah. Do you go
Gold.
heavy or light?
Huh?
Heavy or light, like a 3/8 or a half ounce?
I throw 3/8, a half, and 3/4.
Damn. Why?
Current. No, the strong current. With if they're wanting it bouncing off the bottom, then you got to throw a 3/4.
Mm-hmm. And not get it snagged somehow.
Otherwise, 3/8 or a half.
I'm just again kind of shocked with how well it fished 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I guess that's where my hypothesis comes in, that they didn't really like all this mud in the water, because when the Bass Federation came here, and I think Big D Danny won it, there was a lot more bags, I believe. And guys, let me know if I'm wrong. A lot bigger bags just throughout the leaderboard, and I think it's because the water conditions were a little bit more stable. But you know, I could be wrong with all that. Let's see. We got GPS Smith 05. Love the DOA. Thanks, boss man. Bailey X asks, what is your go-to top water this time of year? Cole, what's your top water?
Yep. Or Whopper Plopper.
Has that destroyed the buzzbait? It just feels
No.
like nobody throws a buzzbait anymore.
I started with a buzzbait tied on one and a Chapo tied on the other.
Ooh, Chapo versus the Whopper Plopper. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I use a Chapo. I think it rides water.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Maybe it doesn't. It seemed like it to me. So,
how long do you give a top water before you switch it up?
smallmouth on a Shenandoah, if they haven't hit in 15 minutes, they ain't gonna hit it. I mean, you know, usually they hit it as soon as it hits the water almost.
Mm-hmm.
If they're on a top.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think that's something that really, I think, frustrates me with the top water bite is how long do you give it? It's when you're fishing juicy stuff. I guess one thought, which I think you're correct on, is if you fish a juicy spot and you don't get bit, the top water is not going to work. I think some people get in a process like, but maybe the next spot they'll bite, maybe the next spot. And then by the time 4 hours have passed with no bite, you're like, well, crap, I just kind of messed up my whole day.
Yeah, you gotta let go of that. The only thing I'll say about that is the Chapo and the Whopper Plopper and all those, it got to be clean water. Now, sometimes they'll bite a buzzbait because you run it into the rocks and bounce it off of the rocks. Then they'll hit it. Other than those two scenarios, though, if they don't hit it in the first 15 minutes, they ain't gonna hit it.
We got so many things here. Rudy, what's your favorite color jig?
Green pumpkin.
What kind of water conditions we talking about? That would be my thing. We're talking swim jig, white, you can't really beat. It works for everything. You can switch the trailer out to a green pumpkin to make it more look bluegilly. It has a really good look to it going through the water. If you're talking bluegill color, dirty jigs makes a great bluegill color. Green pumpkin is good all around, but what kind of trailer you're going to use, dude, that's a whole freaking episode we could do just on that. My profile pick fish was caught at Frederick on a Whopper Plopper, LOL. I'll never leave home without one. That bait is like the chatterbait where it hit the fishing zeitgeist, man, like a meteor. And it's really changed the way I just feel like it's really hurt the buzzbait market, honestly. Now it's good if you still throw a buzzbait because the buzzbait is now a sneaky bait, in my opinion. I think most people would rather tie on a Whopper Plopper than use a buzzbait, but that's just me.
You can't throw a Whopper Plopper. You can't throw a Whopper Plopper through the trees, through a log jam, but you can throw a buzzbait through it.
Oh, 100%. I think this is a spicy one. I think there's more skill buzzbait fishing than Whopper Plopper fishing.
Yeah, I mean,
as I piss everyone off in the comment section, because again, you just chuck and you wind it, but a buzzbait, you can skip it. You have to be good with your cast angles. You know, are you actually doing it with a skirt? Or are you going without a skirt? There's so many more variations versus Chapo, cast, wind. But
and you got to have water too.
Yep, got to have the right water too. Exactly. We got Rudy again. What's your favorite color for a spinnerbait? Ooh, that's a good one.
White.
Like a shad white with some chartreuse. I like a little bit of chartreuse depending.
Mine's probably white with some silver flake in it.
Silver flake, yeah, something like that. I don't like just straight white. I like something that'll give it like that nice little shimmer. Okay, Tedrick here. I think the plopper is more versatile and you can pause and rip, etc. I'm just saying in general, yes, you can pause it and it'll float there, but I've seen good buzzbait fishermen, the ones that can like skip it under a dock and stuff. And I personally think there's a lot of skill in understanding how to use a buzzbait effectively. Again, but that's very old school. I grew up with buzzbaits.
A lot more places than you can a whopper plopper.
Yeah, exactly. Again, the whopper plopper has definitely earned its place in smallmouth. Don't seem to get as conditioned to it as largemouth. You can tell by the big time tournament organizations. You really see buzzbait still dominating on largemouth waters. I think Jacob Wheeler threw a black loon whopper plopper day one, if I remember correctly, but that was over grass beds, submerged grass beds. It kind of makes sense to get it with treble hooks versus a buzzbait. That's the biggest thing. It's a treble hook versus a single hook, and there's pros and cons to both depending on how those fish are going to be taking that bait, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Perfect. Oh, dude, awesome. I think those are all the questions. What do you think about the Rappahannock coming up?
I'm fishing for smallmouth.
I'm doing the same thing, probably, to be honest with you. Because honestly, like tidal bat, largemouth, they don't get very long, so you're not hurting yourself going for smallmouth.
Yeah, I mean, I've smallmouth fished down there for a long time, and I didn't fish the tidal wrap last year, but the year before I caught 3 fish. I think I had 3 fish. I finished in 3rd place. I mean, it was tough to catch fish.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going with smallmouth.
Yeah, no spoiler there. I'm probably gonna go smallmouth too. Just do the redemption. Basically means I basically went fishing for smallmouth for the last 2 months now at this point. So I can keep it.
What his boundaries are going to be though?
I guess Mike will let us know. I think he said the whole river, right? I guess tidal and regular. So if it's regular, it's got to be smallmouth, I think, right? Yeah. I need to go practice that so I don't make the same mistake again of just floating a section. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to be in for. So
that could be dangerous.
Yeah, I've heard. I have heard. Got another question here. What up, boys? Tom, what happened with the section you're fishing? I think it was just the Shenandoah, especially as you get closer to the West Virginia portion. There's some gnarly water down that way. Not to give anything too far away, because I know John will kill me if I give away the exact spot. Even though he probably would have had to give it away to find my body since he left me. But yeah, so you just got to be careful about the positions. And again, it's not like, I think the Potomac in general, until you get to Great Falls, is safe. The Confluence is the most dangerous. I almost drowned at the Confluence when I was a kid. Like, that place can get gnarly if you're stupid. The New River is probably the most dangerous river we have here, I think, honestly, because there's legit waterfalls and shit, and there's no one around, so you got to be careful there. James River is pretty chill. Besides that, there's a shit ton of dams on it, so you need to know where those low-hanging dams are. So yeah, just be careful and just kind of do more research on the float you're going to do. Check to see what kind of rapids and low-hanging dams are there. Don't be me, for sure. Let's take a look. See, got any more questions here? We got Everett. Glad you're still breathing. Oh, so am I. Get the ninja. I'll get Sean on again. We'll talk about chatterbaits. It's kind of boring though, because all he does is just throw a chatterbait, man. He does it well, but come on. What are we going to talk about? Let's see here. Got another question here. All right. GPS 0522 asks, is there any other events that you're looking forward to this year on the schedule? Upper Potomac in the fall, some redemption. That'd be nice. Can't wait to see the boundaries for that one, to see where we're allowed to go.
I'm interested in that one too, because that's hunting season. So I haven't really fished the Potomac in September. I don't know what to do there.
I think it'll still produce. Like, where else could you go in September where the fishing would be good? Like, I feel like the fishing on the Upper Potomac will still be pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're still going to be in their summertime patterns, but I don't know. We'll see. I've never fished in September.
We usually have those Indian summers, so yeah. I mean, it should be, knock on wood, pretty good. I think the last event last year was the wrap, and that was kind of spotty, if I remember correctly. Let's see. You got Rudy again here, guys. I'm going to get a couple more questions here, and then we're going to call. This will be a shorter stream today, but Rudy says Potomac in July and August if the water levels stay up all summer. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. James will do fine on the James. You will do fine on the Upper Potomac. Yeah, of course he'll do great. No, there's been a lot of good tournaments on the upper and the Shenandoah this year. I've been tickled pink with how the places have fished. I really have. Guys, I'll also probably do another stream tomorrow night too, just to talk about some stuff with the Patreon and our next tournament. Because I was thinking about opening up for this weekend, but it's the 4th of July weekend, so I want to see if people actually want me to do that because of safety issues. I don't want everyone having to rush out there during the 4th of July weekend because it will be a freaking madhouse anywhere you go. I have that feeling. Let's see, got another question. All right, last question here from Dan something. Sheets22. Asks, I think this is the right person. Yeah. And he asks, what is your favorite place to fish in the Virginia area? For me, it's probably the Shenandoah or Upper Potomac. I have just so many memories there. I really love fishing those areas, honestly.
Yeah, definitely the Upper Potomac for me. That's my home water. I mean, I can be there in a half an hour and fish.
What part of the Upper Potomac are you near? Paw Paw?
Just above Great Falls.
Oh, okay, gotcha. A Maryland side or Virginia side?
Virginia.
Virginia side? Okay. No, that's a good area too. I mean, there's so many areas like that. I mean, I grew up fishing White's Ferry through the Monocacy up to Point of Rocks was really where I cut my teeth up to the confluence. But the smallmouth fishing, dude, from really the confluence down is legit. Like it can rival the Susquehanna. I have no idea why now that I live near Williamsport near Paw Paw, the fishing just is not the same. It's so crazy how it's the same river, but the quality is just not there compared to down near you.
Yeah, I mean, we've done that float from Paw Paw to Orleans, and it's just like a trough. There's nothing really, there's a couple of ledges in there, but it's pretty much just a straight flow.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
That's probably why it's so good for muskie fishing and stuff, maybe the trout and stuff, but it's not necessarily the best smallmouth water. Don't get me started on big slack guys in the comment section. That place is like the Ohio River right now. Oh, yeah, I need to give this plug, as a person said. The first Thursday nighter is going to be this Thursday at Big Slack. By the way, there is no dock. It is now probably in the Chesapeake Bay because it got blown out this May. So if you guys want to come in there, just get there early because 30-boat field fills that place up, and you can see who catches 7 pounds for their best 5 because that place is definitely hurting lately. I think that's it. And guys, yeah, please link in the episode description. Go check out NVKBA. Our next event for the NVKBA, guys, I should probably have this already done. So let me NVKBA
19th, I think.
I think it's the 19th, but just to make sure, so I don't. Yep. So July 19th is the Rappahannock River. So go check out NVKBA, Northern Virginia Kayak Bass Anglers Association. You can come sign up for the event. It'll be a lot of fun. There's usually a brewery or someplace Mike and the gang reserves after the event. It'll be a lot of fun. I believe it's smallmouth and largemouth, tidal and non-tidal portion. The boundaries will be probably brought out here, but please go check out NVKBA. Special thanks to Jake's Bait and Tackle and everybody for supporting this event with all the cancellations. And I'm happy he keeps the schedule the way it is. I truly think in my heart, this is the most balanced schedule there is because you have lakes, you have smallmouth, you have tidal. AOI for this club is big because you had to catch them so many different ways to take home that trophy. It's not just catching just smallmouth. It's not just being tidal water. It's not just Lake Anna. You have to do it everywhere to get that trophy.
Yeah, it's a good trail.
Yeah, it really is. Let's see, we got 2 more. Yeah, we got one more here. Rudy says, the fish move a lot on the western section of the Potomac with water level changes. Yeah, they do. I'm going to have Cliff Bennett. We're going to be recording an episode with Cliff, the legend. We're going to talk about that. And I've had the guys on like Shane and stuff and that have done the smallmouth tagging program. Fish will go from down near Great Falls all the way up to Millville Dam. Like they've been tagged. It's insane how much they move on the upper Potomac. It's crazy. So, but yep, absolutely, guys. Again, a little bit shorter today. We'll be back next week. I'm hoping to talk about the upper Chesapeake Bay as we get ready for the Bass Open on the Chesapeake Bay. And then stay tuned for other live streams throughout the week. And yeah, Jimmy, is there anything else that I can do to promote for you? And again, huge shout out to your win.
Nope, I'm fully sponsored by me. That boy Mikey Salas said he was going to be my agent, so hopefully he can drum up something for me.
Do you got any more paintballing tournaments or pool tournaments coming up?
No. I've retired from paintball, but I still play pool. So we'll see. I don't got any tournaments coming up right now.
Guys, if you haven't, go check out the episode I did with him. We talk about his career, gallivanting Europe and the world, playing paintball, being a professional pool player. This is the most interesting man in the world right here. So go check out that episode. It was a lot of fun. And we will see you guys next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas